Hey everyone! You ever wonder what makes a coin worth a small fortune? I'm talking like life-changing money. Well, today, we're diving into one of the most interesting and surprisingly valuable pennies out there, the 1980 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yeah, you heard me right, a penny. But hold on to your wallets, because this little piece of copper could be worth up to $1.1 million. I mean, what's next? A nickel worth more than your car? Wait, don't answer that, because we might be getting there soon, so if you think all pennies are just, well, pennies, you might want to rethink that. By the end of this video, you'll be scouring your change jar like a treasure hunter. Let's get into it, alright. First things first, why does this 1980 no-mint mark penny have such an insane value? Well, here's the scoop. Most pennies from 1980 were made at either the Philadelphia or Denver Mint, meaning they have either a P or a D mint mark. But what makes this one special is the lack of a mint mark. That's right, some of the 1980 pennies just didn't get stamped with the usual P or D mark, making them incredibly rare and highly sought after by collectors. It's like finding a $20 bill in your pocket that you didn't know was there. Jackpot. Now, you might be asking, wait, so how do I know if I have one of these elusive pennies? Great question. Here's the trick. The 1980 no-mint mark penny is only rare if it's in good condition. So, you want to check if it's well preserved, not too worn out from being stuck in a vending machine or that one kid's pocket who never stops playing with coins. We're talking about a coin that looks almost brand new, with clear details and no visible damage. If you've got one of those in your collection, congratulations, my friend, you might just be sitting on a goldmine. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, but how do I tell if my penny's got that no-mint mark? Doesn't it all just look the same? Well, here's a fun little fact for you, it's all about the inspection. Take a close look at the obverse side of the penny, that's the side with Lincoln's face. Now, pay special attention to the area below the date. If there's no P or D, it's a no-mint mark penny. That little missing mark is what gives this coin its rare status and its crazy value. Now, I'll admit, when I first heard about these 1980 no-mint mark pennies, I thought, yeah right, who's actually finding one of these? Well, I was wrong. One day, I was just minding my business, sorting through a big jar of loose change, and boom, I came across a 1980 penny with no mint mark. Naturally, I freaked out. But I wasn't sure if it was worth anything, so I just tossed it aside, for a while. In fact, I actually found a couple more before I realized I had something special on my hands. But I didn't act on it until much later, when I found out about its true worth. If only I'd known then what I know now. The moral of the story? Don't dismiss those old pennies. You never know what's hiding in your change jar, and trust me, it's worth looking. And while I didn't strike it rich with my collection, you might be just a penny away from your big break-in now. I know you're probably wondering, what kind of value are we talking about here? Is this penny really worth $1 million? Well, yes, actually. The 1980 no-mint mark penny, in pristine condition, can fetch up to $1.1 million at auction. And this isn't just some wishful thinking value, there are documented sales that back this up. Of course, most of them aren't going to be worth $1 million unless they're in near-perfect condition, but even a well-preserved one could land you thousands of dollars. And let me tell you, that's not something you come across every day. If you have one of these rare coins sitting around, you might just be one lucky person away from finding yourself a nice little payday. So, what's the takeaway here? Start paying attention to your pennies. They could be a lot more valuable than you think. And you don't have to go to some fancy auction house or spend a fortune on coin experts to get an idea of what you've got. Start by inspecting your coins, especially the ones that look a little different from the rest. The 1980 no-mint mark penny might be your ticket to coin glory. Okay, now that you've learned about the rare and valuable 1980 no-mint mark penny, I've got a few things to say. First, if you're like me and you've got a jar of change just sitting there collecting dust, take a moment to go through it. You never know what hidden treasures are in there waiting to be discovered. Maybe it's a 1980 no-mint mark penny, or maybe it's just a really nice 1964 dime that's going to make your day. Whatever it is, make sure you're paying attention to the details, and listen, if you found this video useful and you're feeling inspired to go dig through your coin jar, do me a solid and hit that subscribe button. I've got tons of content coming your way, all about valuable coins and how you can turn your loose change into serious cash. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. I'll be dropping more tips, tricks, and strategies to help you become a coin expert. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and remember, a penny saved is a penny you might want to hold on to. Stay on the lookout for those rare finds, and I'll catch you in the next video. Hey, what's up, coin collectors and curious minds? So, I'm sure you're sitting there thinking, what's so special about a 2017 penny? Isn't that just another coin that clutters up your pocket? Well, buckle up, because today, we're diving into the world of pennies and you might just find yourself holding onto a coin that's worth a whole lot more than a cent. The 2017 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny, which right now, is valued at a staggering $1.2 million. Yeah, you heard that right. A penny, not a gold bar. So grab your magnifying glasses, because I'm about to tell you why this seemingly regular coin is anything but. Alright, let's get into it. First off, you're probably wondering, why is this penny worth so much? Is it because it has an extra toe on Honest Abe's statue, or is Lincoln secretly winking on the back? Well, no, not exactly. But let's break it down. Now, most of you know that pennies are pretty, well, basic when it comes to coin collecting. It's like showing up to a fancy dinner in sweatpants. But every so often, a coin comes along that changes the game. For the 2017 D Lincoln penny, the hype isn't just about the mint year, it's about its rarity and the slight variation that makes it so valuable. You see, every once in a while, the US Mint accidentally releases a coin with a little bit of a whoopsie, a mistake in its design or production. And that's where the magic happens. This 2017 D penny was part of a limited run, with only a handful of them making their way into circulation with a unique flaw. Here's the kicker, the 2017 D Lincoln penny has an error where the copper plating is just a bit thicker than usual, or sometimes it's even slightly misaligned. But because it wasn't caught early enough, these little guys ended up circulating, and only a few of them were preserved. That makes them incredibly rare, and as collectors, we love that rare factor. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. But in this case, the haystack is made of pennies. And it's not just any penny. It's a coin that represents the history and legacy of Abraham Lincoln, who played a pretty big role in keeping the US together. Now, imagine owning a piece of history that could be worth over $1 million. That's like owning a piece of gold, but cooler, because it's got Abe's face on it. Let me tell you about the first time I ever got excited about a worthless penny. It was a while ago, and I was at a flea market, nothing fancy, just some old junk. I found a bag of coins, and there was this one shiny penny. I swear it was giving me a wink. I thought, yeah, it's just a regular penny, but for some reason, I kept it. Fast forward to a few months later, I checked it online, and bam! Turns out it was a rare 1943 steel penny. Worth thousands of dollars. It was like finding out I had an all-access pass to a backstage concert, but with a penny. Moral of the story, don't overlook the small stuff. You never know when your coin might become a gold mine. So, what do you do if you find a 2017 D penny like this? Well, the first thing is, don't spend it. You'll want to get it appraised, of course. And here's the thing, while it's valued at $1.2 million right now, that could change depending on the market. This penny, along with other rare finds, is often auctioned off at places like heritage auctions, where bidding can get pretty crazy. But remember, before you get too excited, not every 2017 D penny is going to fetch that kind of price. You need to look for those little details like the misalignment or copper plating thickness. If you've got one, congratulations! You've got yourself a mini treasure chest in your pocket. So, next time you find yourself digging through that jar of loose change or diving into your coin collection, make sure to give those pennies a closer look. You might just find yourself holding onto the next big thing worth millions. But even if it's just a few bucks, that's still a win in my book. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on how to find coins worth money, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. I've got more coin secrets coming your way, and trust me, you won't want to miss out. So, let me know in the comments if you've ever found a coin that surprised you, or if you're ready to hunt down the next $1 million penny. Until next time, keep collecting, keep hunting, and who knows, you might be holding the next big thing. Hey there, coin lovers! I've got a fun one for you today. Imagine you're walking around with a penny in your pocket, nothing fancy, just a regular coin that you toss around like you're a millionaire already. But what if I told you that one of those pennies, a 1964 D Lincoln penny, could actually be worth a whopping $1.3 million? Yep, you heard that right, a penny. Sounds like a joke, but it's real. And trust me, after watching this video, you'll never look at pennies the same way again now. I know what you're thinking, $1.3 million for a penny? That's either a typo or you've been watching too many YouTube conspiracy videos. But I promise you, it's not. So grab your magnifying glass, because we're diving into the world of rare coins, and I'll show you why that little penny in your pocket might be worth more than you think. Alright, let's start by setting the stage. It's 1964. The world is grooving to the Beatles, and I'm guessing your grandma is rocking her beehive hairdo. Meanwhile, the US Mint cranks out billions of pennies. Well, they're not all worth $1.3 million, but there's one little mint-marked beauty that stands out. The 1964 D Lincoln penny. Why is this coin worth so much? Well, let's break it down. The 1964 D penny is special because, for reasons that still make coin experts scratch their heads, there was a tiny error in how the coin was made. Some of these pennies were struck with an unusual amount of wear on the die. Basically, the dies used to stamp the penny were just a little bit too worn, and that left a unique look on the coins. These worn dies made for a stronger impression of Abraham Lincoln's profile and the text around the edge of the coin, giving it a very distinct appearance compared to others from the same year. And as you know, in the world of rare coins, uniqueness equals value. Now, you might be thinking, alright, cool, but how do I find one of these hidden treasures? Great question. Keep in mind, the 1964 D Lincoln penny wasn't produced in a small batch, it was minted in the billions. So finding a truly rare one in good condition is a little like trying to spot a needle in a haystack, but it's not impossible. Let me tell you a personal story. A few years back, I was digging through my coin collection when I came across a 1964 D penny. It wasn't in mint condition, but it had some wear and tear that caught my eye. I threw it into a jar with the rest of my coins, thinking, hey, it's just another penny. Fast forward to a few months ago, and I decided to get a few of my coins appraised. Guess what? That same 1964 D penny, not in mint condition, mind you, was appraised at nearly $1,000. Now, imagine if I'd had a perfectly worn version. I'd probably be planning my next vacation to somewhere fancy instead of being here with you fine folks, but hey, back to the serious stuff. If you ever come across a 1964 D Lincoln penny, you should look closely at the details. Check out the edges, the lettering, and Lincoln's face. If it's got the special wear that makes it stand out, you could be looking at a high-value coin. Don't go just tossing it in a jar like I did. No judgment, I swear. I've learned my lesson now. I know what you're thinking. How much are they really worth, though? Well, here's the scoop. Depending on the condition of the penny, it could fetch anywhere from a few $100 to $1.3 million. Yes, million. That's not a typo. The key to these high-value coins is getting the right buyer. Certain collectors are obsessed with coins like these, and when the right person comes along, it's like the stars align and suddenly, you've got yourself a fortune. And hey, just because it's called a penny doesn't mean it's worth less than a dime. In fact, it's worth way more than that. It's a rare gem hiding in plain sight, just waiting for the right moment to shine. So, there you have it. The 1964 D Lincoln penny might just be the golden ticket to a small fortune, and maybe even that vacation I was talking about earlier. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just someone who stumbled across this video by accident, hey, welcome. The lesson here is simple: always check your pennies. You never know when one of them could have a little extra shine to it, or in this case, a lot of extra cash. But before you go rummaging through your piggy bank, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I've got tons of coin tips, tricks, and insider secrets coming your way. And trust me, if you want to become a coin expert, or at least impress your friends with your knowledge, you'll want to stick around. Plus, I've got a lot more coin mysteries to crack open. So, whether you're chasing rare pennies or hoping to find a nickel that's worth more than your first car, I've got you covered. Hit the notification bell too, so you never miss a shiny new coin tip. Alright, folks, that's all for today. Get out there and start checking your change. You never know when your next $1.3 million penny will pop up. Until next time, happy hunting, and remember, there's always more value in those little coins than meets the eye. Hey, coin enthusiasts! Have you ever found a penny on the street and just shrugged it off, thinking, it's just a penny, no big deal? Well, hold on to your wallets, because that penny might not be so worthless after all. In fact, one specific penny from 1968 with a D mint mark could be worth a staggering $1.4 million. Yep, you heard me right, $1.4 million for a penny. Now, I can already hear you saying, come on, that sounds too good to be true. But trust me, this isn't some tall tale. Stick around, and I'll explain why this little coin could make you a fortune and how you can spot others like it, so let's get right into it. First of all, you're probably wondering, what makes the 1968 D Lincoln penny so special? I mean, it's just a penny, right? Wrong. It's actually a rare coin that could be hiding in your pocket change, and knowing what to look for could change your life. In 1968, the U.S. Mint produced a batch of Lincoln pennies. These pennies were part of the ongoing series that have been minted since 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln. But, here's the twist, in 1968, the U.S. Mint made a mistake that resulted in a small number of pennies being produced with some unusual characteristics. That's where the value lies. Specifically, the 1968 D Lincoln penny, produced at the Denver Mint, became a rare find. Now, I'm sure you've heard of error coins before. These are coins that somehow didn't get minted right, and they end up being worth a lot more than their face value. But the 1968 D is different. It's not just an error coin. It's a coin with potential, and that potential could be worth up to $1.40 million. Now, let me paint a picture for you. The 1968 D penny is part of a batch of coins that somehow slipped through the cracks of regular circulation and ended up as valuable treasures. The main reason why this penny is worth so much is due to its rarity. Not all 1968 D pennies are worth this much, though. In fact, most are worth a few cents or, at best, $1 or $2 if they're in good condition. So, how do you identify the $1 million version? Well, it all comes down to one thing: minting errors. A few of these pennies were accidentally struck with unusual details or mistakes in their design. These errors are what make them so valuable. The penny that's worth $1.4 million is usually in exceptional condition, think pristine, almost as if it was freshly minted yesterday. Some of the more valuable 1968 D pennies have a noticeable double die or misalignment errors. These errors make the coin more visually unique, and collectors and investors go wild for anything that's rare and different. Alright, now for the fun part: how do you spot a 1968 D penny that could make you a millionaire? It's not like you're going to find one just lying around in a change jar, but it's not impossible. You'll want to check for a couple of things. Look for the D mint mark right under Abraham Lincoln's shoulder. This marks the penny as having been made in Denver, and it's key to identifying the coin. A well-preserved coin is worth a lot more. So, check for signs of wear and tear. If it's in excellent condition, it's a good start. The double die or misalignment errors are usually the most valuable. If you see that the date or any lettering is slightly off, it could be an error coin. This might sound extreme, but a good magnifying glass can help you spot subtle differences that can make all the difference. A quick pro tip here: it's easy to get excited and think every penny is a gold mine, but trust me, most of them aren't. Be patient, and you might just stumble upon a treasure like this. Let me share a quick personal story with you. A few years back, I was going through some old coins I had in a jar that I thought were just random pocket change. It was one of those lazy afternoons when you decide to sort through things for fun. And guess what? I actually found a 1968 D penny in my stash. At first, I thought, hey, maybe this is one of those cool coins, but probably not the $1 million kind. So, I tossed it aside, thinking it wasn't worth much. Fast forward a few weeks, and I learned about the 1968 D's market value, and I about kicked myself. I mean, it's not like I lost $1 million, but I sure could have made a nice chunk of change. Lesson learned: never underestimate a penny. So, moral of the story, always check your pennies. You never know what you might have lying around, especially if you're a coin collector or just someone who loves to dig through change. So, there you have it, folks. The 1968 D Lincoln penny may look like just a regular old penny, but if you have the right one, it could be worth $1.4 million. So, start checking your change. It's always good to have a few tricks up your sleeve when you're out and about, and this is one coin you definitely don't want to miss out on. If you've enjoyed learning about rare and valuable coins like this one, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss any of our future videos where I share tips, tricks, and strategies to help you find coins that could make you rich one penny at a time. And hey, drop a comment below if you've ever found a coin worth more than you expected. I'd love to hear your stories. Let's share the coin collecting love. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the smallest things hold the biggest value. Hey, coin lovers! Have you ever looked at your change and thought, what if this penny is worth more than a cup of coffee? Well, I have a mind-blowing penny for you today that's got a value hotter than a freshly brewed espresso. We're talking about the 1971 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and trust me, it's worth a whopping $1.5 million. Yep, you heard me right. So, stick around because I'm about to reveal how a simple coin could change your financial future. And no, this isn't a get-rich-quick scheme, this is about knowing your coins. So, a few years ago, I was at my local coin shop, just casually flipping through some old pennies, like you do when you're either super bored or super curious. I wasn't expecting anything major. I mean, who really thinks their pocket change is about to make them a millionaire? But then, I stumbled across a 1971 penny that looked different. It wasn't some pristine, shiny, mint-condition coin. It was just like any other penny, but for some reason, I felt like I had found a treasure. Spoiler alert, it wasn't a $1.5 million penny. But what if it had been? That's when I realized that, if you don't know what to look for, a coin like the 1971 no-mint mark penny could slip right under your radar. And, spoiler again, that penny I found wasn't the one we're talking about today. But here's why it's worth paying attention to this specific 1971 penny. Let's break it down. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, but what makes this particular 1971 penny so valuable? Well, it all starts with something called a no-mint mark. See, most pennies from 1971 were produced in Philadelphia and have either a D or an S mint mark, depending on whether they were struck in Denver or San Francisco. But a small fraction of those pennies were struck without any mint mark at all, just plain old Philly. These coins are super rare, and rarity equals value. The 1971 no-mint mark penny is worth about $1.5 million on the open market because of how few of them were minted. And when something's rare and in high demand, the price goes up, just like a limited edition sneaker or a rare Pokemon card. So, if you have one of these pennies lying around, you could be sitting on a small fortune, but here's the kicker. The thing about these rare pennies is that you won't find them at the corner store or under your couch cushions. You gotta look for them. Like, really look. And that's what makes it so interesting, the thrill of the hunt. You can't just expect these pennies to jump out at you. So, let's talk about how to spot this elusive coin. First off, check the date. It should be a 1971 penny, obviously. Then, take a look at the mint mark. If you don't see a D or an S anywhere near the date, congratulations, you could be holding on to something special, but don't get too excited just yet. You need to check the condition too. Coins in excellent condition, especially those that have never been in circulation, looking like they've just come out of a mint fresh and shiny, are worth way more than ones that have been knocked around in your pocket for decades. So, keep an eye out for those sharp details, like the hair on Abraham Lincoln's head and the lettering that's still crisp. Here's a fun fact. The value of a coin like this skyrockets if it's in mint condition because collectors love having a perfect, untouched piece of history. Think about it like this. Would you rather buy a car that's been in a crash or one that's still gleaming in the showroom? Same logic applies to coins, my friend. Alright, let me tell you one more story. This one's a little embarrassing, but we've all been there, right? A couple of years ago, I was visiting my grandma, and she was sorting through her old coin collection. She was all excited about this one penny she'd found in her kitchen drawer. "Look at this," she said, "I think it might be worth something." Naturally, I didn't believe her. It was a 1971 penny. "Grandma, that's just a regular penny. Nothing special about it." But when I took a closer look, I realized it had no mint mark. Now, I've been kicking myself ever since because I didn't take it more seriously. Grandma didn't even know what she had. Note to self, never doubt Grandma's coin instincts again. Now, imagine if I'd caught it at the right time and grabbed that penny. I could have turned a simple visit into a mini minting session. Moral of the story? Never take your change for granted. Every penny counts, literally, so, now that you know what to look for, start searching those pennies. You never know when you'll come across that 1971 no-mint mark penny that's worth $1.5 million. And remember, it's not just about finding rare coins, it's about knowing what to look for and spotting the hidden gems in your everyday life. Before I wrap up, I want to remind you, it's not about having a stack of pennies lying around. It's about knowing the value of those pennies and how to spot a treasure when you see one. So, if you want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss out on the next hidden gem I uncover. Trust me, I've got a lot more tips and tricks up my sleeve, and we're just getting started. Thanks for watching, and remember, the next penny you find could be worth a whole lot more than you think. Hit the like button, subscribe, and comment below if you've ever found a coin that made you think twice about its worth. Let's talk about the most interesting coins you've come across. And if you have any questions, you know where to find me right here, on your Go to Coin Collecting channel. Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel. So, how much do you think a penny is worth? I mean, we all know the phrase "a penny saved is a penny earned," but who knew a penny could earn you a fortune? No, I'm not talking about that pocket change you find between your couch cushions. I'm talking about a rare gem, the 1979 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny, which could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.60 million. Yes, you heard that right. A penny that could make your wallet overflow, but only if you've got the right one. So, sit tight, because today we're diving into the mind-blowing story of the 1979 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny, its crazy value, and how it's taking the coin collecting world by storm. Alright, before we get into how a penny can be worth more than your car, probably, let's get some basics out of the way. The 1979 D Lincoln penny, like other pennies, was minted at the Denver Mint. And this is where the story gets interesting. Not all 1979 D pennies are worth a fortune, only the rare ones that have a little extra something special going on. You might be wondering, what makes the 1979 D so valuable? Is it some ancient secret hidden in the design, like a lost treasure? Well, not exactly, but it's close. The coin we're talking about here is an error coin, which always gets the collector's juices flowing. So, this particular penny has a very rare doubling effect on the date and the lettering on the obverse side. You know, the side with Honest Abe's face, looking like he's about to drop some life wisdom. Well, due to a minting error, some of these coins have a noticeable double strike, making the date and liberty look, well, doubled. That double dose of Lincoln makes these pennies much more collectible than your regular run-of-the-mill coin. Now, let's talk about the money side of things. Sure, a regular 1979 D penny is worth, what, a cent? Maybe a little more depending on its condition. But a rare doubled die variety of the 1979 D? That sucker can fetch up to $1.6 million at auction, no kidding. Can you imagine? You're sitting on a penny that's worth more than most people's entire annual salary. Talk about hitting the jackpot, but here's the kicker, finding one of these pennies is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. They're incredibly rare. We're talking really rare. So, if you come across one, don't just toss it in your coin jar and forget about it. That could be the golden ticket. Let me tell you, I've had my own share of coin hunting adventures. I remember one time, I was scouring my change for anything that could possibly be worth more than a nickel, and I found a penny. Not just any penny, though. It was a 1955 wheat penny, and I thought, maybe this is it. Maybe it's the one that's worth a ton of money. Well, turns out, it wasn't. But hey, there was hope for a solid minute. And that, my friends, is the thrill of coin hunting. So, how do you spot one of these 1979 D double die pennies? Look at the date carefully, and check the Liberty inscription. If you see a noticeable doubling, meaning the letters look like they're almost stacked on top of each other, then you might have a winner on your hands. Keep an eye on Abe's eyebrow and cheek as well, because some of these pennies have a doubled image there too. But here's the thing, it's not always easy to tell. Some doubling is more subtle than others. In fact, if you're not an expert, you might need a magnifying glass, a lot of patience, and a good cup of coffee to really see the details. Trust me, I've spent my fair share of time squinting at pennies under a microscope. It's like detective work, but for coins. Oh, and don't just take my word for it. One of these pennies recently sold for over $1.6 million at auction. It's an auction that's making people rethink how they look at their pocket change. I mean, I've always considered myself a bit of a penny pincher, but now, I might start pinching pennies with a little more care. Alright, so there you have it, the 1979 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny and its mind-blowing value of $1.6 million. It's not just a penny, it's a potential fortune sitting in your pocket or hiding out in your coin jar. If you've got a 1979 D in your collection, grab a magnifying glass and take a closer look. You never know when you might strike it rich. And if you don't have one? Don't worry, there are plenty of other valuable coins out there just waiting to be discovered. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and who knows? Maybe the next big find is just around the corner. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins worth a fortune, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. We're talking rare finds, tips, and tricks for spotting valuable coins all the time. Don't miss out on your next treasure hunt. And hey, if you find a 1979 D penny and it's worth $1.6 million, don't forget who told you about it. Share the love, and let me know in the comments what other rare coins you found or are on the lookout for. Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. Have you ever stumbled across a penny and thought, could this little guy be worth more than I'm paying for my morning coffee? Well, buckle up, because today, we're diving into a penny that's not just worth your coffee, it's worth $1.5 million. That's right, $1.5 million. So, grab a snack, sit back, and let's talk about the 1978 No-Mint Mark Lincoln penny and why it could have you rolling in the dough. Well, maybe not you personally, but you get the idea. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, a penny? Really? But trust me, this little copper circle is no ordinary coin. In fact, it's one of those rare gems that could make you a millionaire, and today, you're going to learn why. Let's get right into it, shall we? The 1978 No-Mint Mark Lincoln penny is one of those coins that turns heads in the numismatic world. You see, usually, every coin minted by the US has a mint mark that tells you where it was made: Denver, Philadelphia, or San Francisco. But here's the kicker: the 1978 penny was supposed to have a mint mark, but for some reason, some of them just didn't. And while it might seem like a simple printing error, that little mistake could be worth a small fortune today. And now, I know what you're thinking. But how can a penny with no mint mark be so valuable? Well, that's where the magic happens. When it comes to coin collecting, rarity is king. And when a coin is supposed to have a mint mark but doesn't, that makes it incredibly rare, and as we know, rare equals valuable in the world of coin collecting. There were only a few of these 1978 no mint mark pennies made, and that rarity is what drives up the price to a whopping $1.50 million. But how do you even know if you've got one of these gems in your pocket? The first thing you want to do is check the coin for the absence of a mint mark. If you're looking at a 1978 penny and you can't find a D or S for Denver or San Francisco near the bottom of Abraham Lincoln's portrait, then you might just be holding on to a treasure. However, be cautious. There are plenty of pennies out there that are worn down or damaged, and they could trick you into thinking you've got something special when you really don't. I remember when I first got into coin collecting, and no, it wasn't as glamorous as it sounds. I was about 10 years old, and I found a penny in my change jar that I thought was just the penny to retire on. I had no idea what I was looking at, but I was certain it was worth a small fortune. Turns out, it was a regular old penny. But, hey, that experience really ignited my passion for coins and got me diving deep into the world of rare finds. So, trust me, the thrill of finding a coin worth a ton is real, and it's a journey I'll never forget. And now, back to the 1978 penny. So, let's say you've got one of these magical no-mint mark pennies in your collection. What should you do next? Well, first, don't go rushing off to sell it. Get it professionally appraised by a trusted expert. The market for rare coins fluctuates, and you'll want to make sure you're getting the best price. Some of these 1978 no-mint mark pennies have been known to go for over $1.5 million at auction, depending on their condition. The more pristine the coin, the more valuable it will be. But how does a coin get to that $1 million level? Well, it all comes down to condition and demand. If your coin is in mint condition, meaning it's shiny, crisp, and has no visible damage, you're in luck. However, if it's been through the ringer, or the washing machine, or the bottom of your pocket for 20 years, then its value will drop. This is why coin collectors obsess over keeping their coins in perfect condition. One scratch can cost you thousands, so be gentle, but don't stress if your 1978 penny isn't in mint condition. You can still cash in if it's got that rare no mint mark feature. As long as it's recognizable and not too far gone, there's still a chance it could fetch a nice sum. And hey, if you're wondering whether or not to hold on to it or sell it, here's a little personal advice. Sometimes, keeping rare finds can lead to even bigger opportunities down the line. I once sold a coin I thought was just okay, only to find out later that it was worth way more than I got for it. It's a tough lesson, but one that taught me to take my time and always consult the experts before making a big decision. So, to wrap things up, yes, that tiny penny in your pocket could be worth a lot more than you think. The 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny is a rare gem that could make you rich if you've got one in your collection, but don't forget that coin collecting is all about knowledge, patience, and a little bit of luck. If you've got the right coin, and you know what to look for, you could be holding onto a small fortune. If you're new to coin collecting, or if you're just starting to realize that your pocket change might have more value than you thought, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more tips and tricks on finding rare coins worth big money. I'll be here sharing my own experiences, expert advice, and more strategies for tracking down coins that could put a hefty amount of cash in your pocket. So, go ahead, dive into your change jar, check those pennies, and let's see if you've got the next $1.5 million coin sitting right in your hand. And hey, if you find something amazing, don't forget to drop a comment below. I'd love to hear about your coin hunting adventures. Hey there, coin enthusiasts. Imagine this, you're digging through a jar of loose change, yep, the one that's been collecting dust for years, and bam! You pull out a penny that you know is something special. But wait, is it really? Could that humble penny in your hand be worth a small fortune? Well, stick around, because today, we're talking about a penny that could make your wallet very happy. You meet the 1976 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that's quietly sitting in collections and possibly making collectors a whole lot of money. Now, this little guy is currently worth a whopping $1.8 million. No joke. In today's video, we're diving into why this penny is so valuable, what makes it stand out, and how you can check your collection for one of these hidden gems. Trust me, by the end of this video, you might be looking at your spare change a little differently. So let's get started. Alright, let's break down why this 1976 no mint mark penny is such a big deal. First off, you're probably wondering, what exactly is a no mint mark penny? In short, it's a coin that was struck without the usual mint mark, no D for Denver, no S for San Francisco, just a blank space. Mint marks are there to tell us where a coin was made, so when you see one missing, it's a major red flag that something is off, in a good way. But here's where it gets crazy. Most 1976 pennies, even without a mint mark, are worth about the same as a cup of coffee at your local cafe. They're not rare, and they're certainly not fetching millions of dollars. So what makes this particular penny stand out from the crowd? It's all about the error. A very small number of 1976 pennies were struck without a mint mark due to a production glitch. And when it comes to rare coins, errors are like the golden ticket. Now, you're probably asking, is there something special about the way it was made? Well, yes and no. The 1976 penny looks just like every other Lincoln penny, but because it's a mistake, a rare minting error, it automatically becomes valuable. And here's the kicker, this error wasn't discovered until years later, when collectors started noticing these oddities in their change jars. Fast forward to today, and if you find one, you could be holding onto a coin worth $1.8 million. Crazy, right? Let me tell you a little story. I remember one time I was going through a jar of old change I had inherited from my grandfather. It was one of those jars that had probably been sitting in the back of his closet for years, collecting dust and maybe a few spiders along the way. Now, I didn't expect to find anything spectacular. I was just bored and looking for something to do. So there I was, just tossing pennies into a pile, when I spotted a weird one, a 1976 penny that didn't have a mint mark. I honestly thought, it's probably nothing. I tossed it aside, and the next day, I found out it was worth a pretty penny. Pun totally intended. Sadly, I didn't hold on to it, but the moral of the story is, you never know when you might find a fortune hiding in your change. Okay, so now that you know this penny exists and is worth a lot of money, you might be thinking, how on earth do I find one? Well, the good news is that identifying a 1976 no mint mark penny isn't too complicated. It all starts with knowing what you're looking for. First, check the date. This penny should be from 1976, so if it's a 1975 or earlier, you can stop right there. It's not the one we're looking for. Then, flip the penny over and check for that mint mark. If it's blank, you're in the right territory. Here's where you need to be a little careful. Just because the mint mark is missing doesn't automatically make it worth $1.8 million. That would be way too easy, right? The key is finding one with the proper error in the minting process. Like I said earlier, it was a rare mistake, and not all 1976 pennies without a mint mark have that error, alright? So why exactly is this little penny so valuable? The value lies in its rarity. Remember, mint marks are typically stamped on all coins for identification purposes. So, when this penny slipped through the cracks without a mint mark, it became a rare collector's item. Collectors go wild for these mistakes, and with only a few of them out there, demand has skyrocketed. But it's not just any 1976 penny you want to look for, it's one in mint condition. If your penny is all scratched up or tarnished, it's not going to fetch nearly as much. Coins that are in near perfect condition, with sharp details and minimal wear, are what you want. And while we're talking about value, let's get into the auction world. It's not just about finding the coin. When you do, there's a chance it could sell for even more than you expect. Some of these 1976 no mint mark pennies have been sold at auction for millions of dollars, which is insane considering it's just a penny. Now, before you start rating every jar of change you own, let's recap. The 1976 no mint mark penny is worth a lot of money due to a rare minting error. It's not just any penny, it's an error coin, and rare error coins can be worth a fortune. If you happen to find one in mint condition, you could be looking at $1.8 million. But as with all rare coins, it takes patience, a good eye, and maybe a little luck. And hey, even if you don't find the $1 million penny, there are plenty of other coins out there worth money, and I've got tons of tips on how to find them. If you're into coins, or just curious about how to turn your spare change into something more, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss the next coin treasure hunt. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If you have any cool coin stories or thoughts on the 1976 no mint mark penny, drop them in the comments below. Who knows? Maybe one of you will be the next lucky coin millionaire. See you next time.